He's gone. I'm sorry." Those were the words that shattered the world of billionaire Daniel Carter. Inside the cold, sterile hospital room, machines had gone silent. Doctors stood still, nurses lowered their heads. And on the hospital bed lay 8-year-old Ethan Carter, lifeless. Daniel Carter, one of the richest and most powerful men in the city, stood frozen. His expensive suit, his wealth, his influence, none of it mattered in this moment, because his son, his only son, was gone. "Try again," Daniel shouted, his voice cracking. "You're telling me my son is dead? Do something!" The lead doctor sighed deeply. "We've done everything we could. His heart stopped for too long. There's no brain activity." Ethan had been in a tragic accident just hours earlier. A sudden collision, a head injury, severe trauma. They tried everything, but it wasn't enough. Daniel slowly stepped closer to the bed. His hands trembled as he touched his son's cold fingers. No, this isn't happening." Tears streamed down his face, something no one had ever seen before, not employees, not rivals, not even his closest friends. The man who controlled empires couldn't control fate. Just beyond the glass doors, sitting on the cold pavement, was a boy no one noticed. His name was Jay. He was 12 years old, dirty clothes, barefoot, thin, hungry, a homeless boy. The world had forgotten him long ago, but Jay hadn't forgotten the world. He watched everything quietly. People rushing in and out, ambulances screaming, families crying. He had learned something important in life. Pain looks the same, whether you're rich or poor. Jay clutched a small, worn-out bag. Inside it were his only belongings, a piece of bread, a broken toy car, and something else. A small notebook. It wasn't ordinary, because inside that notebook were things Jay had learned while living on the streets, watching, surviving, and learning from a man no one believed, an old street healer. People called him crazy, but Jay knew better. As doctors prepared to officially declare Ethan dead, something strange happened. A nurse rushed into the room. "Doctor, there's a boy outside. He's insisting he can help." The doctor frowned. "What?" "He says he can save the child." The room fell silent for a moment. Daniel turned, slowly. "What did you say?" The nurse hesitated. "He's just a homeless kid." Daniel's face hardened. "Get him out of here. This isn't a joke." But just then, a weak voice echoed from the doorway. "I can bring him back." Everyone turned. There stood Jay, dirty, weak, but his eyes were different, focused, calm, certain. Security guards rushed toward him. "Hey, you can't be here." "Wait!" Daniel shouted. The entire room froze. Daniel looked at the boy carefully. There was something about him, something strange. "What did you say?" Daniel asked slowly. Jay stepped forward. "I've seen this before," he said. "He's not fully gone yet." The doctors exchanged looks. "That's impossible," one doctor said. "His heart has stopped. There's no activity." Jay shook his head. "No, you just don't know where to look." Daniel was a man of logic, power, control, but right now he was a father, and fathers take chances, even impossible ones. "You have one chance," Daniel said, his voice low but intense. "If this is some kind of game—" "It's not," Jay replied. The room was filled with tension. Doctors stepped aside reluctantly. "Fine," the lead doctor said. "This is pointless, Mom, but go ahead." Jay walked toward the bed, slowly, carefully. He looked at Ethan's pale face. Then he opened his small notebook, flipped through pages filled with strange markings. Notes, symbols, instructions written in messy handwriting. The doctors whispered among themselves. This is ridiculous. But Jay ignored them. He placed his hand gently on Ethan's chest, closed his eyes, and whispered, "Come back." Nothing happened. A few seconds passed, then 10, then 20. The doctors shook their heads. Daniel's hope began to fade again. But then, a faint sound. Everyone froze. The heart monitor flickered. The room exploded into chaos. What? That's impossible! Check his pulse. The doctors rushed forward. He has a heartbeat. Daniel's knees nearly gave out. No way. Ethan's chest moved slightly. A breath, then another. He was alive. The doctors were stunned. Medical science couldn't explain what had just happened. But Jay, he quietly stepped back. No smile, no pride, just silence. As if he already knew this would happen. Daniel turned toward him slowly, his eyes filled with shock, gratitude, and confusion. "Who are you?" he asked. Jay looked at him. "I told you," he said softly. "I've seen this before." And then he turned and started walking away, as if saving a billionaire's son meant nothing to him. The hospital was in chaos. Doctors surrounded Ethan, running tests again and again. This doesn't make sense. His brain activity is returning. This is medically impossible. But in the middle of all that noise, one person had already walked away. Jay, the boy who just brought a dead child back to life. "Stop him!" Daniel shouted suddenly. Security rushed out of the room. They found Jay just outside the hospital doors, quietly sitting back on the cold pavement, like nothing had happened, as if he belonged there, as if that was his world. "Sir wants to see you," a guard said. Jay looked up calmly. "I know," he replied. Back inside, Daniel stood in front of Jay. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel powerful. He felt small. "You saved my son," Daniel said slowly. Jay stayed silent. "How?" Daniel asked. Jay looked at him, then at Ethan through the glass window. "He wasn't gone," Jay said. "His body forgot how to fight. I just reminded it." The doctors listening nearby were frustrated. "That's not science," one of them snapped. Jay looked at him and quietly said, "Not everything is in your books." Daniel knelt slightly to match Jay's height. "Who taught you this?" For a moment, Jay didn't answer. Then finally he spoke. "An old man," he said. "People called him crazy, said he was a fraud. But he saved people no one else could." Jay's voice softened. "He found me on the street when I was starving. He didn't give me money. He gave me knowledge. The old man lived under a broken bridge, no clinic, no machines, just herbs, strange methods, and deep understanding of the human body. He used to say," Jay continued, "the body doesn't die immediately. It waits, hoping someone calls it back." Daniel listened carefully. "And you learned all this from him?" Jay nodded. "I watched him for years." "What happened to him?" Daniel asked. Jay looked down. "He died," he said quietly, "and no doctor could save him." Inside the ICU, something unusual was happening. Ethan suddenly began shaking slightly. Doctors rushed again. His body is reacting. "But something's wrong." Daniel panicked. "What's happening?" Jay turned his head slowly. "He's not fully safe yet," he said. "What do you mean?" Daniel asked. Jay stood up. "The danger isn't over." The doctors tried to stabilize Ethan again, but something wasn't right. His heart was beating, but irregularly. His breathing, unstable. "This is not normal recovery," a doctor said. Jay walked into the room without asking. "Stop!" a nurse shouted, but Daniel raised his hand. Let him do it. Jay placed his hand near Ethan again, but this time his face looked serious. Something is blocking him, Jay said. Blocking what? A doctor asked angrily. His body is alive, but it's confused, Jay replied. Jay opened his notebook again, flipped to a specific page, then suddenly asked, "What caused the accident?" Daniel hesitated. "A car crash," he said. Jay shook his head. "No. Before that." Daniel froze. "What do you mean?" Jay looked directly into his eyes. Something inside him was already wrong. Doctors quickly checked Ethan's reports again. One of them gasped. "Wait, there was something we missed." A rare condition. A hidden internal issue. Ethan's body had been weakening slowly for months. The accident only triggered it. Daniel felt like the ground disappeared beneath him. "You're telling me my son was already dying?" Silence. Jay took a deep breath. "I can help, but this will be harder." "What do you need?" Daniel asked instantly. Jay looked around. Silence. The room cleared, no machines beeping loudly, no shouting, just stillness. Jay closed his eyes again, placed both hands carefully. Seconds passed, then minutes. Nothing happened. Daniel's heart pounded. "Please," he whispered. Then suddenly, Ethan gasped, a deep breath. His fingers moved, his eyes slowly opened. "He's awake!" the doctor shouted. Tears rolled down Daniel's face again, but this time they were tears of hope. Ethan was alive, stable, recovering. Doctors called it a miracle. News spread quickly. Billionaire's son returns from death. Medical mystery shocks hospital. But no one knew the real hero, Jay. Daniel found Jay sitting alone again. "You saved my son?" "Twice," he said. "I owe you everything." Jay stayed quiet. Daniel continued. "I'll give you a home, food, education, anything you want." Finally, Jay spoke. "I don't want money." Daniel was shocked. "Then what do you want?" Jay looked at him with calm, simple eyes. "Help others." Daniel was silent for a long moment. Then he smiled slightly. "For the first time in my life, I think I understand what that means." Weeks later, a new center opened, a place where poor people could get treatment free. No money required. Doctors worked there, but so did someone else. Jay, not a doctor, but something more. Jay didn't wear a white coat. He didn't need one. People trusted him because he listened, because he cared, because he saw what others ignored. Months passed, Ethan fully recovered, stronger than ever. But something had changed. In Daniel, too. From billionaire to human. Before this, Daniel only believed in power and money. Now, he believed in something else. Humanity. One evening, Daniel sat beside Jay. "There's something special about you," he said. Jay smiled slightly. "No," he replied, "there's something special about everyone. They just forget." Daniel looked at the busy center, people being treated, lives being saved, and he realized something powerful. The world doesn't need more billionaires. It needs more people like Jay. Jay stood outside at sunset. Same sky, same world. But everything had changed. A boy who once had nothing, now had a purpose. Sometimes, heroes don't wear suits. They don't have money. They don't have power. But they have something far greater. A heart that refuses to give up on others.